Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Weather with Ryan forecast video. We're going to be discussing a possible potential severe weather outbreak in the next couple of days. But before we get into that, let's go over the current conditions. Taking a look at the current radar right now, we have a big old line of thunderstorms stretching from Benton, Kentucky, all the way down to Clinton and Murray. This is non-severe, not severe at all. I cannot stress that enough. There will be no tornadoes with this storm. Just general showers and thunderstorms, and possibly maybe some small hail, most likely not, but yeah, just nothing severe going on right now, just general showers and thunderstorms moving through our area. I want to shift our attention to the day one SPC outlook. Right now the SPC has outlined quite the slight risk going on from all the way up from Vincennes, Indianapolis, Evansville, and there's also another bimodal slight risk that goes all the way over there. And it almost goes into Murray. It hits Mayfield. I would expect at least either this slight risk or this slight risk to be expanded southward towards us because of the recent model guidance. So right now we have a day one 5% tornado risk for portions of central Indiana and southwestern portions of Illinois. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe not see the 5% risk, but maybe more so the 2% risk expanded southward towards us because of the most recent model guidance. Yes, there is quite the potential for a possible tornado over in central Indiana. Yes, there is quite the potential for a tornado over in southwestern Illinois. But I also think there could be some down here in western Kentucky. Let's go ahead and take a look at the models and see what they're saying. Taking a look at the HRR model, we are finally in range for these short-range models. This is at 2 p.m. on Saturday. You could really start to see this big line of big old thunderstorms developing, and you could start to see these little isolated cells. That's not what you want to see with this 5% tornado risk in effect for basically this area. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see it shifted at least somewhere down here towards us. But let's move on. This is at 3 p.m. Look at all these cells. These are, they don't look discrete, but I promise you they will be discrete. These are discrete cells that are firing off over in southern Illinois, moving south towards us, which is not good. See over in Terre Haute, Indiana, which is where my father lives, very, very strong supercell storms moving into his area. He could very well have a good potential for a possible tornado in his area. And this is at 5 p.m. Very, very strong supercells moving across the portions of southern Illinois, going into central Indiana. And then they're starting to move. They're getting closer to us. Again, these are discrete supercell storms, and around 6 and 7 p.m. they start to reach us. Still very discrete. These could be packing a tornado risk. But yeah, these are this has kind of got my eye. I don't want to freak out yet and say, oh my God, there's going to be a tornado. Oh, there's going to be a tornado in 2 miles of our location. No. The threat is still the threat is still low for tornadoes. I'm just saying there is a possibility of a tornado threat for today, even though it's not high. You can never count it out. It's never zero. This is Updraft Helicity. This is possible rotations in these storms. These are, rotating updrafts. This is detected, for rotation. This is at 3 p.m. You can already start to see some rotation over in western Illinois. That's not very good. And then moving on, you can really start to see some stronger rotation. And then you start to see some rotation around 7 p.m. down here over in Massac County, all the way into Tennessee. Not good. And then you can start to see some even more rotation. So these storms will be rotating. These are not the strongest updraft helicity, values I've ever seen. They were very, very strong. The last two model runs ago, which is probably around 4 and 5 in the morning, those models were. But yeah, they're not as strong as they were, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. I want to shift our attention to the wind shear, which is wind changing with height, primarily good for tornadic development. And this is around 1, 2, 3 p.m. There's very strong wind shear over in central Indiana and west central Illinois, but there's not really that much. I mean, there is wind shear down here in western Kentucky, don't get me wrong, but it's not like eye-poppingly strong, you know. But I mean, around 4 and 5 p.m. it does get moderately strong, around 30 knots of wind shear, but that's not like overly impressive. I mean, yes, there is wind shear, don't get me wrong, but it's not like extremely strong, but it is there. And obviously you don't need, you know, that much wind shear to produce tornadoes. Shifting our attention to Cape values. This is around 2 p.m. today, 3 p.m. today. Very, very high Cape values, almost 24,000 joules per kilogram in western Kentucky. Very high Cape values, more than enough for storm development. Let's go ahead and pull up a sounding. I want to take a look at this. Right there, our possible hazard type is marginal tornado. Look at that photograph. That is wind changing with height. That's very, very strong wind changing with height right there. That's one hell of a photograph. And taking a look at, this is another thing, wind changing with height. This is lower in the altitude. Look how you could just kind of see how it changes with height. You see that as we progress up, it changes with height. That's primarily good for mesocyclones and producing tornadoes. Just wanted to show you guys that. And finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points. The dew points is the moisture in the air. Obviously, if you don't have moisture in the air, then how are thunderstorms going to develop? They don't. But anyway, I digress. Moving on today around 3 p.m., almost 80 dew points over in western Kentucky. That's flat out miserable, man. That's gross. How it's going to be extremely humid today. Very, very humid, but very strong dew points over in the upper 70s all throughout this big corridor. A lot of moisture in the air for storm development. Obviously, we have more than enough ample moisture in the atmosphere to produce storms. Almost 80 dew points. That is flat out like that. I can't express to you how miserable it is going to be today. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another Weather with Ryan forecast video. Tomorrow I will be doing more of an in-depth video on this upcoming severe threat for tomorrow, because it still looks like it's going to be the main show, so to say. But make sure to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell to stay in the loop for any severe weather information. I'll see you guys in the next video.